why women that's in survival mode are a red flag. Now, a lot of these type of women, they give you the Jezebels and the succubus quotes, right? I just made that up, by the way, right? It ain't tricking if you got it, or ain't nothing for free. You know what I'm saying? If you want something, it ain't nothing for free, right? They try to sell their self to you. They try to sell their body to you because they got a Jezebel and a succubus spirit, because they don't know their worth, right? They don't want to hold themselves accountable to get a higher paying job, right? Because they had a low vibration. They got that succubus spirit. They got that Jezebel spirit, right? This is why women that's in survival mode, they're a red flag. And plus, two, these type of women, these type of women that go online and say, well, if you can't pay for this or if you can't pay for that, then you can't talk to me, or you can't get inside of these pants, or whatever the case is. When we all know y'all know what that is. You sleeping with men for money. You basically selling your soul for money, right? A lot of these women that's in survival mode, they sell their soul for money by sleeping with different men for money, and they got a lot of times, 9 times out of 10, their personality is disgusting, right? They're not genuine, right? Because they can't, and plus two, they can't love you as a man because they don't love themselves enough to better themselves, right? So that's a big red flag in a woman, right? And these type of women, that be talking about, well, if you can't pay for my nails, or if you can't pay for this, if you can't pay for that, don't hit me up if you're not paying me, right? Paying you to text them, like that's not genuine. Like that's a woman that's in survival mode. That's a woman that's broke, right? She the first, these women that's in survival mode, they the first one to call guys broke boy, loser, right? When they stuck in survival mode because they're miserable, right? So they try to shame you for actually having money, right? You the one that got the money, right? She want money from you, but she'll call you broke, all because she in survival mode, because she don't love herself. You don't want to deal with a woman like this. You don't want to deal with women like this. If a woman don't love herself enough to take care of her own self, then I can't take care of her neither. If a woman can't take care of herself, and these type of women, they have no value to add to your life as a man. They don't have nothing to add to your life except their body, right? Selling themselves, right? They ain't got nothing to offer you, right? They want money, but they can't offer nobody money. You got to give to get. You got to give to receive. So these type of women that's in survival mode, they is not the type of women that you want to be around, that you want to hang around. These type of women, like I said, man, they're very, very they low vibrational, right? They just don't want to work on themselves. They don't want to do the shadow work, right? Because they don't love themselves. When a woman does not love herself, she's lost. She can't love a man. When a woman when she's in survival mode, when a woman is in survival mode and she got low self-esteem and she don't, she's not what she want to be in life, you think she gonna be able to love you as a man? No. If she get into a relationship with you or she dating you, no. You think she gonna be able to give to you? No. It all makes sense. It all works symbiotic connection, man. So why would you deal with a woman that's in survival mode? These type of women, they quit the catching attitude. When you ask them, you go on a date with them, you say, well, I paid for the last date. Can you pay for this one? They quit to act, they quit to look at you and, or they roll their eyes at you, or, they do all this, because they're in survival mode, right? You don't want to deal with a woman that can't give like you giving, right? If you got money, why would you want to deal with a broke woman, right? As a man, that don't even make sense, right? No, and all you tricks, you're going to try to make an excuse. Well, man supposed to provide. Well, a woman is supposed to be a helpmate to a man. So if a woman supposed to be a helpmate to a man, she supposed to provide something too as well. It's supposed to go both ways, man. That's why you got to be equally yoked when you're dealing with these type of women. If you feel that there's no connection, right? It just makes sense. It's like, why would a rich person hang around with people that's bums, right? Those bums is going to bring down that rich person, right? Eventually, they're going to start asking them for money, more and more money, right? To bring them down. Same thing when you're dealing with a woman that's in survival mode. She's going to be asking you for more and more money, but she don't want to give you no money. You know what I'm saying? that this is what happens when you deal with a woman that's in survival mode. These women, like I said, a lot of times these women, they be soulless, man. They very, very toxic, very, very loud, ratchet. They quit to catch an attitude and the snap of a finger. They ready to catch an attitude, ready to go crazy, right? Causing problems, right? Starting stuff with you because she got problems herself. That's why she's starting problems with everybody else. It's an eternal issue that these women be dealing with. Being ghetto, ratchet, right? Don't know how to talk to people, talking to people out of anger, right? Because they're not happy with themselves. They're not happy with where they at in life, financially and spiritually. Right? A lot of these women, they don't have no connection with God, right? You know, they don't. You know, it's just the truth. You know, when a woman is stuck in survival mode, they don't have no more, they don't have no integrity. And they don't have no self-respect. But then all of a sudden, once they get out of survival mode, now they want to be genuine. Now they want to be nice. But they don't tongue dance everybody slap, right? They don't tongue dance everybody, you know, they don't suck with a ton of men. Let a ton of men jump up and down in them, right? You know, like on the trampoline. You know, it just because of money. Right? All just because she doesn't want to better herself. So she rather sell herself. You know, it's just the truth, man. You know, a lot of these women, that's why you got to watch out for them. Now, this is why a lot of these older women, they want to date younger guys. Because them young guys, they wasn't alive, you know, back then when she was in her 20s, right? Sleeping with different guys for money, you know, tongue dancing, the slab, the knob, you know, different dudes just for money. You know, a lot of these women, this is what they have done. But then when they get older and get their life together, then they want to act like they so genuine and they so innocent. And they always been that independent woman when they wasn't, right? In their 20s. They act the fool. There was a Jezebel. There was a succubus, right? There was a 304. That's why you got to be very, very mindful, man. You got to think ahead, especially as a young man, right? You got to be thinking ahead about these older women. It ain't nothing wrong with dealing with an older woman or smashing an older woman, right? But you got to watch out when it comes down to get into a relationship with them. Because in the past, they done a lot of stuff. These older women, they got a lot to hide. They'll tell you that, oh, you know, I never used to sleep with men for money or did this or did that for money. They be lying, man. Women, they will lie to protect their image. Right? Because they want you to think that they're the perfect woman. You know, that this is what you know, the devil does. The devil and the demons be working through these women. They be just old Jezebels, old succubus. Right? The devil be working through these women. Telling you a full-blown lie. And then you go going for it. Right? You about to put a ring on it. When, you know, back then when she was in her 20s, when you wasn't alive, why nobody put a ring on it then? Because she was fooling around, sleeping around with different dudes for materialism, right? She done got a ton of bodies. Now all of a sudden, you know, she want a younger guy. You young guys got to think ahead, bro. I'm 29 years old, right? So, you know, I be thinking ahead at 29 years old. I've been thinking ahead, right? Because I've been on talking about female nature ever since I was like 19 or 20. Right? I've been talking about female nature for a very long time. Right? I'm one of the first youngest dudes to talk about female nature on Instagram. I remember when dudes was afraid to talk about female nature. I was one of the youngest dudes, bro. I think I was like 19, 20, 21. You know, when guys was like, oh, you know, I used to be talking about female nature, trying to help guys out about female nature, and guys just comment, oh, women ain't gonna like this, man. You better take this down. I just keep it up. You know what I'm saying? And I just keep posting, trying to put guys up on game about female nature. I was one of the youngest dudes to do it. All right? You know, my Instagram account, Barnabas Coleman. You know, some of y'all might seen it before in the past, but you might one of y'all, somebody might end up commenting about, yeah, you was right. You know, when my channel blow up eventually, somebody gonna end up coming, oh yeah, bro, I used to follow that account. I follow that account. Yeah, but guys, man, I'm telling you, gotta be careful. Women that's broke, they ain't got nothing to offer. The first thing they gonna hit you with, ain't nothing for free, or I ain't paying for that. You gotta test these women like they test you. See if they'll pay for something. If they won't pay for nothing, like you paying for something, get rid of them. They're in survival mode. Or they're a narcissist, or they're a Jezebel or succubus. Stay away from these type of women. They will ruin your life. They gonna just drain you. It's Coleman Aristocracy, man. I'm out, y'all.